Hi guys, and welcome to my May TBR. This TBR list will probably look a lot like Bookable's spring list because usually when I watch YouTube videos, I see one or two books that intrigue me and I write them down, or maybe I just see one out when I'm out and about, and then they get put onto my pile that month. I kind of have a steady trying to draw from my book stacks, written out kind of what I want to read through the year almost, but at the same time, it's just kind of what you're into at the time. And she did that, and it was every single book. I was like, yes, yes, yes. I don't know why. It doesn't ever usually happen like that. But yeah, a lot of them are from her thing. So I might go ahead and link hers down below if I can find it again. And yeah, so let's get started on my TBR. This is the one I'm reading right now. Today is May 1st, May Day. And I'm reading Miraculum by Stephanie Post. I'm not going to go on and on about this one. It was in my last TBR in April. I just didn't get to it, and it is due in 5 or 6 days. So it is about a tattooed snake charmer named Ruby, and there's a man named Daniel who's super mysterious and kind of dark, and you don't really know what's going on. And it is set, I think, in Louisiana, I believe, or on the border somewhere. And I'm so excited for it. I love carnivals. I'll tell you what it's all about. It's a new release. I think it was released maybe in January. Does this have a copyright? Yep, January 2019. So it is a newer release, and I'm so excited to get to this one. And I have to get to this one because I'm at the very last of my library checkout time. The next one is Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. I've never read anything by Casey West. I am not that into YA contemporary, but I have been getting more into it lately. So I'm going to give this one a try. So this one is funny and witty, and this girl gets invited to do a podcast, and it turns out she loves being a host, and she's pretty dang good at it. So yeah, sounds like a little romance, definitely a little romance going on. Probably a YA romance novel right there. This one was on my list last year. This one is a nonfiction piece, and I heard really, really good things about it, rave reviews, and I just never got around to it. I read the first few pages, and they drew me in, and it's just that time of year where I saw it again, and I was like, oh, I really do want to read that. So this is Detained and Deported, and it is Margaret Reagan's, because there are two book titles, Detained and Deported, and this is Stories of Immigrant Families Under Fire. So it is several different stories. It's a compilation of different stories and what people went through immigrating here into the U.S. And then, especially on the southern border. I think they're all southern border related stories, if I remember right from the very beginning. And then the next book on my TBR is First and Then by Emma Mills. This book is adorably small and really cute raindrops. I don't know why. It's such a simple cover with a little heart, but I absolutely love the cover. And this is about a girl named Devin. She's got a crush on a boy named Cass and has had one for a while. And then her cousin comes into town she doesn't necessarily get along with. He makes her mad. I think he's a jock, and he comes along with somebody else named Ezra. So I think that's first crush, and then that's what I'm guessing. But I'm so excited to read a lot of these little YA romances and chick lit because they're easy to read and they're fast to read, and I read a lot this month in April that was not, so I'm kind of excited to read some little faster, quick paced, more mindless reading than that. And so the next one is Little Do We Know. This one is not. This is a much bigger volume. This is by Tamara Ireland Stone. Starts out with two best friends who are in a huge fight, and they're just not getting along, and they've just kind of separated ways. They're going off to college soon, and one is more focused on her boyfriend, Luke. And then their paths start to cross again. They do live next door, and Luke is hunched over, and then I think it comes out more and more what actually happened to them and what broke apart this neighborhood friendship that had been around for years. The next one I'm so excited for. This was on my list forever and ever to get. It is Sherwood by Megan Spooner. I finally got it checked out from the library, and I think this will be my first library read after Miraculum because I'm just excited to get to this one, so I'm going to do it first. I loved Megan Spooner wrote another one that was a retelling about Beauty and the Beast, and I absolutely loved it. It was just kind of shocking because a lot of Beauty and the Beast retellings I don't like, even though I absolutely love retellings. Well, I didn't like as much, and then this one was shockingly, I just really, really liked it. So I'm excited for this one. Sherwood is about Maid Marian, and Robin Hood is dead, and that's how it starts out. And I finally got the book, and I'm so excited, and it's a pretty cover. Like, I think they did really good. I love, it's like silvery. I know you can't tell because of the library book, but I do love the cover. They did a good job on it. And then this one is Famous in a Small Town by Emma Mills. This one is about a girl who is trying to get a famous country singer who is from the town and come back and play a charity event. But the girl has sworn off the town for whatever reason, and it is her coming back to it, and I think it reveals secrets. But also, once again, it is kind of bigger font. It's a shorter book. It sounded fast. It sounded easy. I understand small town secrets. I grew up in a smaller town compared to most cities in America. My town wasn't that small, I guess, but it was secluded. It was out like nowhere. Like the largest city was 4.5 hours. Like to get to an actual city and an actual mall was like 4.5 hours. So I understand small town secrets and everything. And yeah, I'm excited for this one. It sounded easy. It sounded good. YA contemporary novel, and hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's It is Unmarriageable, a novel by Sonia Kamal. About a young girl named Elias Brent who has sworn off marriage and sworn never to marry, and her family is a little bit ruined, and there is a man named Darcy. It's spelled a little bit different. She is like a teacher, and she teaches Jane Austen in her books because a lot of girls at this time in her society are dropping out to become married because that's the thing, I guess. And she wants them to be educated. So she teaches them Jane Austen's books on how to stand on your own as a woman and how to be something more without a man, basically. And in that midst, there's a large wedding coming to their town, which is bringing a lot of eligible bachelors. So we'll see where this one goes. It sounded really good, and it sounded like a really good Pride and Prejudice retelling. I have another one that's coming out in May that I'm also excited about that sounded really, really good. This one I think is set, this one is a Pakistan one, and then the other one was set, I believe it was set in, oh, it was an Indian family in America, but it sounded so cute. It had the cutest first quote. But this one was really good. This was on my radar. This is a new release in 2019. As you know, I pick up every Pride and Prejudice book. If you watch anything, I do. And then the last and final, Pam Janis, The Lost Girls. I just haven't gotten around to it. I haven't gotten around to actually reading the books I actually own, kind of case in point. But she is one of my favorite authors of all time, and I want to have the time to read this and sit down and read this. But I also had checked out the audiobook a long time ago from the library, and it is just finally came up, so I could maybe listen to it on audiobook. I've never read one of her books on audiobook. Usually her books, I just like to have a day, like a weekend day or a Sunday afternoon off, and I just fly through them. So I don't know if I like listening to the audiobook. It might be a whole thing, and I might stop, but I might listen to it. I might not. We'll see where it goes. But I definitely want to get to this one. So yeah, this one started off when I started reading it is about a girl. She found a briefcase, and in that briefcase there were these letters, and these letters track back to these other girls who were secret agents during World War II, which was a lot of books kind of I read this month. A lot of books remind me of this. It also reminds me of the Alice Network, which I also read the second one from that author, and it was really good. But yeah, I have a feeling Pam Janis is going to rock it because she usually does. And so those are all the books I am reading in May. Hopefully I get to them all. Hopefully I've stacked a ton of light reads in there, and I'm excited for them. I do have some nonfictions on my shelf if I get around to them. But yeah, those are my TBR list. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!